Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala.
June 18th, 1936, Maharshi spoke about self-illumination. The I concept is the ego. I illumination is the realization of the real self. It is ever shining forth as I in the intellectual sheath. It is pure knowledge. Relative knowledge is only a concept. The word vijnana, clear knowledge, is used both to denote the realization of the self and knowing the objects. The self is wisdom. It functions in two ways. When associated with ego, the knowledge is objective. When divested of the ego and the universal self is realized, it is also called vijnana. The word raises a mental concept. Therefore, we say that the self-realized sage knows by his mind, but his mind is pure. Again, we say that the vibrating mind is impure and the placid mind is pure. The Mundaka Upanishad says, the knower of the Brahman becomes the self or the Brahman. Is it not ludicrous? To know him and become him? They are mere words. The sage is Brahman, that is all. Mental functioning is necessary to communicate his experience. He is said to be contemplating the unbroken expanse. The Creator, Shuka, and others are also said never to swerve from such contemplation. In talk number 205, Mr. Cohen had been cogitating on the nature of the heart. If the spiritual heart beats, if so, how? Or if it does not beat, then how is it to be felt? To this, Maharshi replied, this heart is different from the physical heart. Beating is the functioning of the latter. The former is the seat of spiritual experience. That is all that can be said of it. Just as a dynamo supplies motive power to whole systems of lights, fans, etc., so the original primal force supplies energy to the beating of the heart, respiration, etc. Devotee said, how is the I consciousness felt? Maharshi replied, as an unbroken awareness of I. It is simply consciousness. Devotee, can we know it when it dawns? Yes, as consciousness, said Maharshi. You are that even now. There will be no mistaking it when it is pure. Devotee, why do we have such a place as heart for meditation? Maharshi replied, because you seek consciousness. Where can you find it? Can you reach it externally? You have to find it internally. Therefore, you are directed inwards. Again, the heart is only the seat of consciousness or the consciousness itself. Devotee, on what should we meditate? To this, Maharshi said, who is the meditator? Ask this question first. Remain as the meditator. There is no need to meditate. Talk 206. Mr. B.C. Das, a lecturer in physics of Allahabad University, asked, does not intellect rise and fall with the man? Maharshi, whose is the intellect? It is man's. Intellect is only an instrument. Yes, said the devotee. Does it survive man's death? He asked. Maharshi replied, why think of death? See what happens in your sleep. What is your experience there? Devotee, but sleep is transient whereas death is not. To this, Maharshi said, sleep is intermediate between two waking states, so also death is between two successive births. Both are transient. Devotee, I mean, when the spirit is disembodied, does it carry the intellect with it? Maharshi, spirit is not disembodied. the bodies differ. It may not be a gross body. It will then be a subtle body, as in sleep, dream, or daydream. Intellect does not alter. The bodies may differ according to the circumstances. The devotee then asked, "The spirit body is the astral body then?" Maharshi replied, "The intellect is the astral body now." "How can it be?" said the devotee. Maharshi said, "Why not? You seem to think that the intellect cannot be limited like a body. It is only an aggregate of certain factors. What else is the astral body?" The devotee then asked, "But intellect is a sheath, isn't it?" "Yes," said Maharshi. "Without intellect, no sheath is cognized. Who says that there are 5 sheaths? Is it not the intellect that declares thus?" In the next talk, number 207, deep sleep is only the state of non-duality. Can the difference between the individual and the universal souls persist there? Sleep implies forgetfulness of all differences. This alone constitutes happiness. See how carefully people prepare their beds to gain that happiness. Soft cushions, pillows, and all the rest are meant to induce sound sleep, that is to say, end wakefulness. And yet, the soft bed, etc., are of no use in the state of deep sleep itself. The implication is that all efforts are meant only to end ignorance. They have no use after realization. It is enough that one surrenders oneself. Surrender is to give oneself up to the original cause of one's being. Not to delude yourself by the imaginings such source to become some god outside you. One source is within yourself. Give yourself up to it. That means you should seek the source and merge in it. Because you imagine yourself to be out of it, you raise the question, where is the source? Some contend that the sugar cannot taste its own sweetness and that a taster must taste and enjoy it. Similarly, an individual cannot be the supreme and enjoy the bliss of the state. Therefore, the individuality must be maintained on the one hand and Godhead on the other so that enjoyment may result. Is God insentient like sugar? How can one surrender oneself and yet retain one's individuality of supreme enjoyment? Furthermore, they say also that soul, reaching the divine region and remaining there, serves the Supreme Being. Can the sound of the word service deceive the Lord? Does he not know? Is he waiting for others people's service? Would not he, the pure consciousness, ask in turn, "Who are you apart from me that presume to serve me?" Still more, they assume, that is, those philosophers assume that the individual soul becomes pure by being divested of the ego and fit for being the body of the Lord. Thus the Lord is the spirit and the purified souls constitute his body and limbs. Can there be a soul for the souls? How many souls are there? The answer must be, there are many individual souls and one supreme soul. What is the soul in that case? All such confusion is due to the word soul or Atma. The same word Atma is used to signify the body, the senses, the mind, the vital principle, the individual soul, and the Supreme Being. This wide application of the word has given rise to the idea that the individual soul, Jivatma, goes to constitute the body of the Supreme, that is Paramatma. I, O Arjuna, am the Self, seated in the heart of all beings, as quoted in Bhagavad Gita 10:20. The stanza shows that the Lord is the Atman of all beings. Does it say, the self of the selves? If, on the other hand, you merge in the self, there will be no individuality left. You will become the source itself. In that case, what is surrender? Who is to surrender to what and to whom? This constitutes devotion, wisdom, and investigation. Among the Vaishnavites too, Saint Nammalvar says, I was in a maze, sticking to I and me. I wandered without knowing myself. On realizing myself, I understand that I myself am you, and that mine, that is my positions, is only you. Thus you see, devotion is nothing more than knowing oneself. The school of qualified monism also admits it. Still adhering to their traditional doctrine, they persist in affirming that the individuals are part of the Supreme, his limbs as it were. Their traditional doctrine says also that the individual soul should be made pure and then surrendered to the Supreme. Then the ego is lost and one goes to the regions of Vishnu after one's death. Then finally there is the enjoyment of the Supreme or of the Infinite. To say one is apart from the primal source is itself a pretension. To add that one divested of the ego becomes pure and yet retains individuality only to enjoy or serve the Supreme is a deceitful strategy. What duplicity is this? First to appropriate what is really his and then pretend to experience or serve him? Is not all this already known to him, the Supreme Consciousness? End of talk 208.